Are we live? I think we're live. Do I sound live? Do I sound okay? Let me know in the chat. What's up, guys? Big T, what's up, man? Chess, what's up? JT, what's up, man? Killing it in the Hot YouTube of the month at the moment. Chris is in the chat. What's up, man? Yeah, sounding good. Sounding really good. All good. All good. All good. Yeah, just a few internet problems going just before I went on board as usual. Anthony, what's up, man? Yeah, JT, yeah, killing it there, man. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, JT, you're killing it, man. You're. We're only halfway through. Anybody, I'm gonna put this out now because it's like there's a lot of people who are subscribed to me who are always in the chat who haven't yet nominated in the Hot YouTube of the month. If you've not gone on to a video I made a couple of weeks ago or like a week ago, yeah, I won Horror YouTube of the month somehow, but I nominated like 4 new nominees, and there's a few of you guys not necessarily in the chat right now, but people who may watch this going forward or who jump on board later on tonight, who have not yet nominated. So yeah, there's 4 new nominations for Horror YouTube of the month. JT is one of them, who's in the chat right now. And Video Tasties, another great guy, does just like uploads an insane amount of stuff. Horror Lives Matter and Savage Zombie Reviews. So if you go to my video, don't do it now because you're going to leave the chat. Wait an hour or two, or tomorrow. But if you go and watch that video, the link underneath takes you all to all those channels. Check them out. If you're not subscribed to them, have a look at them. If you like it, subscribe and then vote in the video that I uploaded. Because there's still a lot of people who haven't voted who I know are subscribed to my channel. So yeah, just do that because I was a little bit scared that like when I won Horror YouTube of the month that like the whole thing was just gonna crash and burn. I thought, who the fuck's like I've barely got any like subscribers. I don't know who to nominate because I'm kind of like in this little bubble of like, the people I watch on YouTube tend to be the people who already like know they've either been nominated or won it and shit. But luckily, through the whole Horror YouTube of the Month nominations process, I kind of got like introduced to a load of like new stuff. I explained this in a previous video because Chris was on a live stream of Video Tasties, and I was vaguely aware of the Video Tasties, but Chris was on a live stream with him doing like a live commentary, and I kind of like exposed me to him a bit more, and then I kind of like went into his like sort of like what he was doing, and he just like uploads like every night, so I kind of like got into him, and then through him, I kind of got into a few more like UK, I wouldn't say like yeah, horror YouTubers, but they also do other stuff. But yeah, so basically, yeah, it is a good way of kind of just exposing smaller channels and a lot of the time the bigger channels than my channel, but they're still getting exposed to people who maybe weren't aware of them. JT, I mean, I'm not saying it's you know the whole YouTube horror nominee of the month thing that has got JT over 100 subs, but it's probably helped, and it helped me. I mean, I was on like 50 subs before the whole getting nominated, and I've got like 106 maybe. So it's double my subscriber count, which is at our level, that's like a big deal. So it does help, and so if it's kind of like that. What's that saying? Pay it forward, where you do a good deed for someone, and they pay it forward again. You know what I mean? So it's that sort of like I kind of feel it's like that sort of like mentality of like small channels just like acknowledging each other, and then paying it forward to channels that maybe have not got the acknowledgement that they deserve. So, I've tried to do it with a few channels, which a couple of them are a lot bigger than me. And, JT was kind of like at the same level I am. And, he's kind of like, he's increased subscribers since then as well. So, it's all good. Um, Jamie says, love your shirt, mate. Yo, yeah, this is like, £9, which is like what, like $10, $11 from Tesco, which is the company I work for. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, it's all good. Yeah, this is like, it's good to see they've got a Halloween thing going on. This is the only Halloween T-shirt they had in. The only other T-shirt they had in, which was movie related, was like a Scarface one. So yeah, but yeah, it's for £9, it's all good. JC's, yeah, helped immensely. Yeah, thanks, son. Yeah, seriously, thanks so much for all the kind words. Yeah, no problem, man. It's like I don't know how I became aware of your channel. I don't know whether it's through algorithms or whether it was something else. When you just like click on something and you just forget how you got there. So it could have been the algorithms, but it could have been, you know, it could have been somebody had recommend. I don't think it might have been the algorithms. I'd like to think it is the algorithms because it'd be nice to think that you could start gaining subs just through the algorithms and not just through like everybody's recommending each other. That's a good thing, but for anybody to gain any sort of like traction on YouTube, you do need to hit those algorithms. I've seen it too many times. I've seen like I've followed YouTube channels. I always say I use Piz as an example, and Piz is in the chat as well. Piz, what's up, man? I just as soon as I mentioned Piz's name, he pop, pops up in the chat. It's all well and good having that loyal subscriber base, but you need to hit those algorithms. I don't know how it works on YouTube. I've no idea. I don't think even Jesus Christ knows how the algorithms work on YouTube. But when you hit it, your channel can just pop. And Piz is there, right? And I've said it numerous times about Piz's channel. Piz went from like 7,000, 8,000 subs, and he jumped, you know, to like 20,000, 30,000 subs in like a year. And you know, it's as utterly deserved. But there's something took place there, and I don't know what it was. I don't, and maybe Pez doesn't know what it was. It's something kicks in with these algorithms, and I don't know. I don't know who knows how it works because I don't. But something just kicks in, and I don't know. It just takes off. Um, I don't know whether I don't know. I don't know. But the one thing about YouTube is it's like the people who deserve to become big, you know? And okay, some dickheads become big as well, but you can't have everything. But the great thing about YouTube, for all its faults, and it's not, in my opinion, YouTube isn't quite as great as it was 5, 6 years ago. I think it's become a little bit safe, a little bit corporate, but for somebody like somebody like Piers, like Christians, Christians just like killing it now. It's good to see people just with an honest take on movies, just honest people with a good heart to see them like making it and like and making money off it as well. It may not be the Jake Pauls and the Logan Pauls and the PewDiePies, but if you're just a decent, honest person and you've got a love of something, and you can go onto a platform and you can make just some money off it, that's just what a great thing, you know. And okay, YouTube isn't perfect. We all know that. But, I won't be too critical of YouTube just for the fact that people I know who I really love, and at least doing making making money off it and doing well off it, and yeah, I mean yeah, I mean yeah, it's YouTube's got its issues, but it's what brought everyone together. So I mean, Jamie, Chris, Piers, Big, everybody in the fucking chat, man. If it wasn't for YouTube, I wouldn't even know who these people were. So it's all it's all good. It's all good. So do you know what? I was gonna just go and start chatting random shit. I did have a point to make up tonight. I was gonna start talking shit. I'm gonna still gonna talk some shit, but I was gonna just like rant a little bit by myself. But I'm just gonna put the link out because I know Griff wanted to jump on, and I was gonna rant just by myself for a little bit, but I'm just gonna put the link out and Griff can jump on. And if anybody else wants to jump on, Chris, Piers, anybody wants to jump on, jump on. So there's the link. So I know Griff wants to jump on. So yeah, the link's there. If you want to jump on, jump on. Big T says they're pumping these X movies out one after the other. It's awesome. Well, yeah. I mean, I like X. I'm not entirely sure I'm going to love um, Pearl. Maybe I don't know. I don't. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe we'll see. We'll see how things go. Um, okay, so we've got somebody in the chat waiting to join, and his name is Griffin.
Oh, you're bringing me on already.
You okay?
What up, everyone?
Yeah, you know what? I just thought I've just rambled on long enough. I just fuck it. Because the intention was to just go on a bit of a rant about like the state of like movies and other shit. I thought, you know what, I can do that with you there as well. I'm sure you'll
Uh,
like back me up. So,
Oh, okay. You think so?
well, maybe.
Maybe.
Um, so one of the negatives I was going to mention was I watched Thor: Love and Thunder today, and I'm just genuinely depressed with the state of like superhero movies. I cannot be dealing with Marvel after Endgame. It's just like, what is the point of Marvel now? It just seems utterly irrelevant.
Yeah, I haven't watched the Marvel movies since Endgame. I have mm, no interest in any of their current films or their shows. Are you going to bring up the She-Hulk?
I've not watched it. I've got no. I've the only
well, you,
I've got
well, you show
three.
you commented on that clip.
Yeah, yeah. Right. Okay. Right. I have got zero interest in anything Phase 4 apart from like stuff that's previous, like 4, and that's like now gone. She Hulk. I mean, okay, Hulk's in it, but I don't do TV shows. Marvel. I don't do. The only TV show connected to Disney I've watched is Kenobi, and that was just a pile of shit as well. So I'm just
It
like I'm
was
just completely,
it
I'm
was
completely done.
lifeless. I actually saw the Kenobi show, and I was going to comment, but you skipped that week when the
That's
last episode dropped, and it was such a lifeless show. Like there was no energy. All the action choreography, there's just no momentum whatsoever. I was just like, then the music was so like music in movies these days. I know there's a reason why like all this 80s synth is coming back is because movies nowadays, like, we're losing all of our orchestral legends in, in the film industry. Like, guys like James Horner, he passed. Jerry Goldsmith, Basil Podoros, uh, and John Williams. He's doing the Indiana Jones movie, and it really pissed me off because for Rise of Skywalker, apparently he recorded a whole new score for that film, and then J.J. Abrams just like, nah, we'll just use the old stuff. We'll just reuse all the stuff from the original movies. That's okay. Here's your check. Goodbye. Like,
Yeah,
oh, great.
I mean, John Williams. John Williams is one of those guys. I'm like amazed he's still alive. Like when you think
I'm
people
amazed
should
he's still
dead.
working.
I know, but it's like it's like when you think that someone should be dead and they're still alive. John Williams is like one of those guys. I'm like, he's probably like 90. Is he 90 now? Or he must be getting on in age, And I just think there's those people who just think you assume that there were people who I think like I thought that person died. It's like the Mandela effect where you think somebody died like 5 years ago and they're still alive. I still get that with people like it's like John Williams and like there's a couple of other like Hollywood or mainstream people. I think I thought that person died like 5 years ago. John Williams is definitely
Legend.
up there.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh,
I can hear you.
okay. Sorry, I cut you off. Yeah, he's a legend, but like the stock of like musicians today for films, it's just so lackluster. I watched that movie, The Gray Man. I believe that was what's his name? He did a couple of Marvel movies. Henry Jackman, and all of his. I don't know if it's him or if it's like because every movie he scored is like you don't even know it's there. It's completely absent. There's nothing. There's no emotion. There's nothing to get you into the action. It's just it's just quietly behind all this action and gunfire, and it's just like I don't understand it. I know we're ranting about things people don't care about, but damn it, I do.
I'm sure people care.
But yeah, the Marvel thing, superheroes in general. I'm so fatigued with superhero material. I just don't care. But we need to talk about horror. We're losing viewers.
Yeah. I mean, I will talk about horror in a minute. One thing I did want to bring up about like watching like Thor: Love and Thunder, like how bad it was. It's like watch Dune.
The
4
new
weeks
or the
ago,
old?
the new one,
Okay,
and watching that, it's like I can't go back to watching the utter garbage of like the MCU, because I loved Dune. I thought it was a fantastic movie. I thought it was everything that the Marvel's MCU wasn't. It was sophisticated. It was adult. It was serious. It had consequences.
yeah.
It was everything that the MCU wasn't. The MCU, Thor: Love and Thunder. I mean, I don't hate some of the earlier MCU movies. I actually liked the first Thor movie. Thought Lost World was shit. Didn't like Ragnarok. I think that was overrated. This movie feels like a video game, like a literal video game, where there's no consequences. The characters are just paper thin. It's just it's a it's such there's so much comedy in the movie that any serious sort of elements to the movie involving Christian Bale are just kind of like just irrelevant because they've placed so much emphasis on the comedy that you can't really get on board for the serious elements of the movie.
Are we
It's just
talking about
like
the new Thor movie?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like 5% serious content, 95% comedy. So the 5% that's serious content is just you just can't get on board for it because it's just overwhelmed with idiocy. Somebody who I'm sure is a massive fan of Thor: Love and Thunder is joining us now, and that is Lorne.
Oh, hey man, what's up?
I know Lorne is a massive fan of Thor: Love and Thunder.
Thor. I mean, it's
What-
Lauren. You're.
What am
there
I
you
a
go.
massive fan of?
Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah, I'm not watching that. There's not a chance in the world. So the Thor films have always been bad. Like I don't get people getting nostalgic for the first two because they were bad too.
Yeah, they sucked.
The third one I hated. It was just kind of like that improv comedy bullshit that invaded comedy and killed it as an entire genre. And that, I mean, it might as well have been The Hangover 4. It was awful. I hated it. And so I saw the trial for the new one and said, oh, they're doubling down on that. There's never going to be a low point in my life where I need that.
Yeah, the Thor movie started out pretty insipid. There's just nothing.
Yeah,
nothing to
I mean,
it.
I think that Marvel have a bad track record of not realizing what won't translate. You know, people talk about DC kind of just repeating the Batman, Superman thing over and over, but it's really because they understand it will work, and they're afraid of anything that won't work. I guess they've gotten a little bit bolder now, and now that they have to cancel films before they even come out. But now, I mean, like Thor is just, it really doesn't work as a standalone film. I guess as a character, something bigger, it could be okay if they intentionally ignore the fact that he can solve any fucking problem. I guess as a character,
What's up,
something
guys?
bigger, it could
Hey.
be okay. I'm echoing now. Intentionally ignore the fact that he can solve any fucking problem. I guess as a character,
What's up,
something
guys?
bigger, it could
Hey.
be I'm echoing now. Intentionally ignore the fact that he can solve any fucking problem.
Is that
Much of me? No one wants that much of me.
JT? Is that JT?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Is that,
Yeah.
can you mute the stream?
Say that again?
The stream. You're getting a lot of feedback.
JT.
Can you mute the stream?
Yeah.
The stream. You're getting a lot of feedback.
JT.
That was
Is that
the
better?
Skinny Puppy remix of the show.
Better?
Here, Lorne.
The answer to the question better is yes, but it's still there.
Yeah, it's still there. Can
Hold
you
on, it
can
might be
you
my fan.
no? Can you get some headphones?
Does that get better? I shut my
You
fan
have-
off. It might be
You have
that.
headphones?
Yeah, let me throw headphones in. Let me do that.
No. Can you get some headphones?
Yeah, I'm grabbing them now.
Can you get some headphones?
I'm not used to being the main
I'm just here for a while.
I can't
Just to
deal
give me shit.
Can you get some headphones? I love this echo chamber. All we need is a beat and we have a front 242 song.
I know. This is your next jukebox.
Yeah, we need a Blade Runner sample in there.
This is your next jukebox.
Yeah, we need a Oh,
There we go.
I could
That's
have
it.
that all night.
It's all good.
I could,
It's back on here.
There we go. I hear you now.
all
There we
right.
go.
All
You
right.
good?
That was congratulations, people. That was the most interesting part of the show.
What's up? I'm getting
I had
my
I
ass
had
kicked in Dark
headphones about
Souls.
5,000 times.
That was congratulations, people. That was the most interesting part of the show.
Right? Not much, man. I'm getting doing fume night +0, no roll, fucking level 1. I challenge run all the games. Yeah, hopefully. I've been at it for like an hour now, so that's it.
We still getting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no wonder why there's an echo because I got your video playing in another browser too.
Yeah.
Take these off
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now.
because they crush my little head.
That's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I clicked the link, it was still playing on the old one. All right, that's good, right?
Yep. Perfect.
StreamYard
Cool.
problems.
Real good. Real good now.
Yeah, about
It's all
We're
good
good.
now.
I was never
We're
big
good.
into Marvel and DC or any superhero stuff. I mean, I grew up with like Val Kilmer's Batman and all those movies and stuff, but I was never big into Marvel or anything like that. And there's so many of them today; it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, most definitely.
It feels like with the Marvel DC franchise now, it's kind of it's very much a case of like consume, watch this, and then get ready for the next thing. That's
Yeah,
it's all that's
basically.
all it is now. There's no it's almost like, you know, it's you feel like you're just getting force fed this shit on a yearly basis, a monthly basis. And the way Disney now have got this set up now where, you know, every couple of months there's a DC TV, not DC, sorry, there's a Marvel TV show, then there's a Star Wars TV show, then there's another Marvel TV show, then there's another
Yep.
Star Wars TV show, and it's like ad infinitum is not the right word. Like
Yeah.
it's just on a yearly basis to and that's it, it's just consume. Be a good consumer, don't complain, and if you do complain, you're a racist.
Yep,
That's Disney.
that's so true, man. That's how it is today. It's crazy, and it's weird how like every decade, especially like in horror movies, you can look back at that decade and see what was going on in that time. Like in the 50s and stuff, you had all those giant monster movies and everything. They were fearful of radiation and nuclear explosions, atomic bomb, and everything. And then as each decade goes on, there's like a new theme to movies that reflect the times. And I feel like that's what it's doing now. Like you were just saying, consumerism and everything. Just consume everything. And that's what everyone in this world does. Not everyone, but for the most part, you know what I'm saying.
One thing I would say as well, which is like, well, I kind of gonna sound like a hypocrite now because I would happily consume a Friday the 13th movie every single year till I die.
Right.
So I know Lorne's like got his head in his hand. But
You
you
got
know,
12 of them. Let it go.
Oh man, let's bring it up to 50. 30 years from now, we got
Right.
Friday the 13th, part
And then,
50.
and then you'll get the Jason Love and Thunder film that you so desperately want. Because that's where Hollywood is right now.
Yeah.
I'm completely cool with that remake being the cap. It's not gonna be, but
No, I didn't
Are
care
we-
for the
are we
remake
getting
much.
it doesn't
Oh,
matter like
yeah.
what you feel about the remake. Is my feeling it's that we're probably never going to get something that at least wants to be a Friday the 13th again. That film
Yeah.
wants to be a Friday. There's things I don't love about it. It's middle of the pack for me, but Jesus, it wanted to actually do it. It wanted to be a Friday. It wanted to take the character serious. It wanted to do, the thankless tasks of trying to recapture the greatness of the first four films, or at least three of the first four films.
Yeah.
But listen, I'm
Well,
always going to love the Fridays that I love, but it's time to turn the page.
Yeah, I know. How many times? The only other thing that I can think of, like movies that have a victim who's every movie that survives another massacre, is Scream.
Yeah, and those films are.
I've
won't
never
put out the pasture far worse.
I've never been a Scream fan since the first one. There's a few things I like in the first one. The opening 20 minutes with Drew Barrymore at school. There's not much else in Scream that I really care for, and I know that's an unpopular opinion. People love that series.
How dare you?
No.
I know, right? I got a lot of unpopular franchise opinions, sequels.
Hey, that's what
opinions.
we love. That's what we love. That's why we keep wanting them.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone has a different taste. Like Texas Chainsaw 2 is my favorite in the series. Blair Witch 2, I love to death.
I love Blair Witch too.
I don't
No
care.
one
I
loves
don't.
Blair Witch.
I don't care for the first one, the Blair Witch
Well,
Project.
I love the original, but I love the second film too.
If
I wish
it
I could
wasn't,
say the trilogy works, but I guess that third
Oh, yeah.
film isn't gonna.
if it wasn't fucked with by the studio so much, it would be so much more liked. I think Blair Witch 2.
I don't know. The problem is I saw a cut that doesn't have the studio mandated slasher stuff in it, and it doesn't have.
Yeah, fan edit.
I got to tell you, the movie needs something in its place, because with it just doesn't. It doesn't have a sense of real impending danger without it. I think it does. I think those scenes look cheap. We're talking about the same thing, right? We're talking about the Asian tourists that get killed on Coffin Rock, right?
Yeah.
It looks cheap, but you want to know what? They should have just done it better because it's the right idea. Sometimes the studios get it right. Sometimes the filmmakers can't see the forest for the trees. I get that, but
yeah.
I love that film as it stands, and I wouldn't change it at this point. I think it's going to endure very well.
That's how it is with me. Like you block that part out basically because you know that wasn't his vision. Because those scenes were shot in Berlinger's backyard after filming wrapped.
Yeah, I just wish they'd given him money to do it properly. That's the thing. I think that it needs to be. You need to have something there to set up that there's high stakes, because the movie doesn't have that otherwise. It's just they're going to visit a crazy guy who gives tours for the first 40 minutes. I mean, then it gets great with all the witchcraft stuff actually entering in and the owl going through the window and all that stuff. I love all that stuff, like passionately. I think that sometimes we think that the studios are made up of untalented hacks, and that can be true. And today it's more true. But when you look at a lot of these production companies, a lot of them are run by people whose names you know and you love their movies when it's their name on them. So you have to be a little bit careful to just always hate the corporations, because the production companies aren't huge. Some of them have like 9 permanent employees. So it's the distribution companies that are assholes. I'll stand up for that.
Yeah. Would
Chris.
Thanks for
this is like the biggest ever.
Yeah, what's up, man? How you doing?
I guess. I don't even know what y'all are talking about at this point. So I'm just kind of like chilling.
Studio interference with movies and how producers will throw shit in just for and ruin the director's vision. Not ruin, but change what he wanted to do.
Yeah, that's like most movies.
Yeah, basically. And we still haven't gotten a director's cut of Blair Witch 2. That's something I'm very upset about. We're getting the Mutilator Part 2, apparently, next year. And we can't.
Whoever thought that we'd see a Mutilator 2?
Yeah, nobody. Absolutely no one.
I think we should hold our applause until we see it, though.
It's probably going to turn out like Dark Knight of the Scarecrow 2.
Yeah, it's going to be terrible.
Did anyone think Dark Knight of the Scarecrow 2 was going to be a good idea? Did anyone think that was going to be good?
Probably not, no.
But Mutilator 2 will have Piz in it, I think. So we'll at least get that.
It's the same director, too. It's the same director, writer. And 2 of the characters from it are coming back, but they're playing like other characters. Kind of like a Sorority House Massacre 2 and 3 thing. How they all have the same actresses and actors playing different characters in both of those movies. So something like that they're going for.
Oh my God!
Okay, I want to touch on something. Halloween Ends. Sorry, I've stayed away from social media for the last couple of weeks regarding the movie. There's something dropped that I'm unaware of. You can spoil it for me. People have been talking.
Don't spoil it.
And
I've already had some of it spoiled. And
that's
right.
Sorry, I know Chris is like. Okay, so
I don't know.
Okay, just say yes. Just say yes or no. Is something dropped? Because people are talking.
I think it's just images, right?
But aren't people saying it like the ending's already been leaked?
Oh, okay.
Yes or no? You don't have to go into detail.
I have no idea.
I haven't heard anything about it. I try to ignore any spoilers for any movie. I don't watch trailers and stuff. I just like to go in blind and just no expectations.
Yeah, well, I bitch about this every stream I'm on lately. I've tried and I went for like a month, and then I was watching some random video and somebody fucking spoiled some stuff for me. No, not Piz. I'm not going to name any names, but it was just completely unrelated to Halloween Ends, and they just say it, and it's like, Jesus Christ, dude. I haven't even watched the trailer.
I
What's
feel
that?
like
that it exists.
Yeah.
I feel like out of all the major slasher franchises, that Halloween. I mean, Halloween's my second favorite film of all time. The Thing is my favorite, but that franchise, Halloween as a whole, is all over the fucking place. Consistency wise,
Yeah.
like I think it's the worst franchise out of like the Nightmare series, the Friday series, Child's Play. There's great entries, but overall, it's
I
all
like
over
them
the
all, but most of them are hot messes.
Oh yeah, I love 4. I love Season of the Witch. 5 is all right. 6 I actually really like. After that, it started going downhill.
Here's a question. Okay, so
Okay.
is the success of Halloween 2018 going into like the following 2 sequels? Ultimately, is that a bad thing for the longevity? Not the longevity, but if you, as a fan, as a purist of the Halloween franchise, the continued success of this franchise, as wacky and as wild as it gets going forward, with like a 70-year-old Michael Myers, ultimately, does this harm the franchise for you, or are you okay with the ongoing success, therefore leading to more and more crazy sorts of scenarios? Because we are at a situation now where we've got like a 65-year-old Michael Myers who's going around, doing his shit, and are we
Well-
supernatural, or is he? Well, he is supernatural, isn't he?
Well,
But
I
he's
would
still
say that the most harmful thing is the fans, and that's why we're here, because like they had to make them 65 so people wouldn't bitch because they take it so seriously. If people would just let go of all that and let the movies be fun, even if they
love
are a
that
little bit
continuity.
unrealistic, the movies would be better off. But people gripe too much, especially Halloween fans.
Yeah. I don't know. I think 2018 I enjoyed. Halloween Kills I barely remember. Like it didn't stick out with anything really for me. But hopefully this last one, who knows, will be something better for me. But
Spoiler, not gonna
you
be
could
the
see
last one.
them. You could see them bringing this series on for another 40 years. They'll find a way.
Harper will get those
I think-
checks.
Lorne, did you like 2018?
No,
Did you like 2018? Lorne?
no.
No. I can't remember.
You can't
I
remember
probably
my
watched
reaction.
you-
I find that difficult to believe.
Well, I did watch The Sausage Factory in 2018,
Yeah,
but I can't remember.
was like my second episode.
I probably wouldn't remember it, but
I made a lot of friends that night.
You did.
you were definitely the male character of The Sausage Factory.
Well, me and Mike, I guess, right? No, listen. What I don't get at this point, and I'm just gonna lay it on the line, is what is special about Michael Myers? He's a guy in a white mask with a knife.
How dare you?
There isn't really much more to it.
How dare you?
We can make a new movie with a guy in a mask with a knife, make a good movie without all the baggage, call it something completely different, and we'd probably be better off at this point. I just don't get it. Like, why are we fetishizing something that at this point we're. I mean, I was born when the original Halloween came out. Mike, you were just born? Am I right?
Yeah, 76. Yeah, 76.
So, I mean, why are we pretending these are formative movies? We weren't watching them when they came out. Like, they mean a lot to us because they're great. The first film in every series is a great film. I mean, I get that, but we've never been able to capture that lightning in a bottle. 10 movies in, 15 movies in. What makes us think that this time it's going to work? I mean. And if you like those films, that's great. I don't mean I'm not pissing in your Cheerios. All I'm saying is that, every time something comes out that is original, it gets no traction because all the air in the room goes towards these tired franchises. It's beyond depressing to me. I just watched what I think is the best movie of the year today.
What?
Saloon.
What is it? Saloon?
Saloon.
Saloon. I haven't
It's
heard of
from
it.
Senegal. It's on Shutter right now. You have it in your house. All you have to do is push play.
That's
Yeah,
a weird
check
way
it
to
out.
say X, Lauren.
X isn't even in my top 15 at this point. I liked X, but it's not even in my top 15. It's been a great year for movies. But why aren't we talking about that? Why aren't we talking about Moloch? Why aren't we talking about any of the great films that came out this year? Frenzy in Venice. You want a slasher? There's a great new slasher. It's just
We'll have to wear a Michael Myers mask.
no, it doesn't. He wears a Jester's uniform, but it's just depressing to me that we're just trapped in this like feedback loop of the same 7 titles. There hasn't even been a Nightmare on Elm Street film in how long, and people still talk about it like it's a going concern.
Yeah, and the remake I didn't care for at all for that one.
And
I don't think many people did actually.
So if we're being real honest and we're not talking about nostalgia glasses, how long has it been since there's been a legitimately good Nightmare on Elm Street film? Not I
Three.
love it because it's bad. Like, great.
87. 87.
Dream Warriors, I would say.
I'd argue part 4 was
Well-
legitimately good.
Craven's New Nightmare is great.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah.
It's a good. I like it as
better
a
than
meta
most of
film.
the series, but it still has problems. It's kind of boring.
Oh,
for
of
first
course,
half.
yeah. Well, you got the mom dealing with the kid for like the whole half of the movie.
Yeah.
Like that.
I don't know if I give a crap about any of that, but
Exactly.
but even so, if you take New Nightmare as the last good film in the franchise, what is that? 92, 93? What is that?
94.
Yeah, it's in the mid '90s.
Cool. Can we find something more recent? No. So it's I don't know. I just don't know why we're fixated on these like 7 titles. It's kind of depressing.
I would say we've had maybe like in the 2000s, we've had a couple of like new entries and stuff. The Collector. Obviously, you've had the Saw franchise, but they've either like not caught on or they've just not had the push, into the wider domain. It's just, I just think media, the way everything is now with social media and just the internet, everything's too spread out now that we'll never get that sort of like focused sort of like, nothing will censor on like a certain franchises the way it did in the 80s, because it's just
Is that what we want?
just the way media is now. I don't know whether it will ever take off like it did with
that
Jason,
what we
Freddie, and
want?
Michael.
That's
I don't
a
know
good
whether-
question.
Do we want
though.
franchises?
That's
do we
a
want
good
franchises
question.
or do we want good films? Because listen,
Yeah.
without
I
going
want
out-
franchises
without going
I
outside,
want good films, but what I'm saying is, I don't know whether we'll ever get the. I don't know whether we'll ever get the. It'll ever just take off the way you want it to, because
Well, but that's us. We're the fans. We decide that. The Thing was a commercial failure when it came out. Okay, it was ridiculed when it
Oh, it
came
was
out.
panned like crazy.
It was considered one of the worst films released that year. Okay, we as fans revived that movie. Okay, brought it to its status today. We could do the same things today. I mean, I'm just looking over the last 3 years at Train to Busan, We Summon the Darkness, The Hunt, The Lodge. I'm trying to stay with stuff in the English-speaking world because I know The Empty Man, The Dark and the Wicked, Malignant, School's Out Forever. That's a great UK title that no one talks about. Gaia, Censor, Saint Maud. This year we had
Well-
The Cursed came out. Why are we still not talking about The Cursed? It's probably the best werewolf film in 30 fucking years.
But also,
know-
I'll make an argument for franchises because, like, those movies are great, but some of us want like the comfort food movies, and they can coexist. It's on the companies to do it. They can make these cheesy franchises for dumb people like me, and they can make
Don't do that.
like well,
I hate
and
when
they can
you do it all the
make-
time too, man. You're not
Well-
dumb. You like what you like. That's cool.
Well, yeah,
saying-
I'm just saying, but they can make both. They won't. They're only making sure things now, which is the problem. Like
Yeah, there's no risk taking really anymore.
they don't do what they used to do, and that's the ultimate problem.
Well, I mean, if you're going to only stroll down to the local multiplex, which I do recommend everyone go down and check out movies theatrically because it's part of the experience that I grew up on and I love. But I mean, there's a thing called the internet, and you have access to movies from all around the world and small independent films. There's some amazing stuff out there. And we're talking about Halloween Ends, which does anyone think this is the end of it? Does anyone think that Jamie Lee Curtis is going to act her way out of a paper bag in this one because she didn't in the last two? Am I saying the quiet part out loud?
Absolutely not. It's not the end. They'll keep milking this franchise as long as they can.
Right.
I think
Because
I
they
think
have
the
a
most-
formula and they know the formula works.
I think the one thing that kind of released that was a hit that got a sequel recently that people will talk about that's horror adjacent would be A Quiet Place. That'd be probably the number one, because I know Ben Grimm was asking what's a movie people could be talking about in 20 years. I'm sure that one will be, and I'm sure they'll make more sequels to that.
I
mean, they left it on they left it on a good point too. But
Yeah,
yeah,
if
and
you-
like X wasn't a sure thing, but that was an exception to the rule for
Well, I would say
sure.
24.
It's an anomaly.
Like when you think about it, there's
Did
not
X
many modern slasher icons. The only ones I can think of is Victor Crowley and Art the Clown, maybe from
But there
Terrifier.
could be.
Exactly, there could be.
on,
But it's not.
on the nature of great films that exist today inside the slasher field. Again, see Frenzy in Venice. Make up your mind about how worthy that is. See Game Over. See Hellfest. These are all worthy of acclaim. Now, I'm not saying we need necessarily sequels. I'm just saying that if what we want is great slasher films, they're made every year. You just have to dig deeper than
Yeah, they used to back in the 80s because it was so oversaturated back then.
Yeah.
Just like
And
found footage, how found footage took off, and now look how many found footage movies there are. There's thousands out
And
there,
also-
and most of them are not good.
Also, going back to it being on the company needs to get behind their stuff too. Like to make like a slasher icon or a horror icon, they should release shirts. They should hire NECA to make figures. They should throw that stuff in your face, give you collectibles and stuff. I mean, that's how Freddy and Jason got to be pretty much where they at. They were like pop culture. They weren't just
Yeah.
like
Freddy, sure, but there was, besides the Screaming model kit in 1989, there was no Jason merchandise whatsoever officially released in the 80s.
well, he went on freaking what was that dude's show?
Yeah, Arsenio Hall,
Yeah.
Nine, yeah, I mean that,
which
but
is just ridiculous. Like they
Yeah,
knew
I mean,
how ridiculous
he
the
was
series
already
was.
he was already an icon to get to that
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
I think you're not wrong with what you love or like. I just think that the problem is everywhere you turn. If you go to YouTube, write horror in the search browser and push go, all you're going to get is thumbnails about Halloween Ends, Friday 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw. That's it. You might get one person who's
Saw.
uploading a video that's fairly popular about whatever's in theaters right now. But I mean, I think there's more to it than this. I'm not sure what we have to say about Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, or Leatherface anymore. And certainly there's nothing less to say about Freddy because there's no new product.
Yeah.
So I just don't know. I'm beyond exhausted of just these same titles. Which makes me a big
What
Debbie
about
Downer.
Sailor?
I get it, but that's where I'm at.
Look at Leatherface. I mean,
What
with
about
that
Night?
whole series, with the Texas Chainsaw series, I haven't cared for one of those movies since the remake in 03, which I love the remake. Everything
movie.
after that, though, is just real hit or miss for me.
Who would have thought we'd be in a situation though in 2022 where if you think back to the late 80s, early 90s, who would have thought that in 2022 Leatherface would be a bigger star on the scene than Freddy? Freddy's kind of slipped to like I would argue that at current standing it's Michael, Leatherface, Chucky, Jason, and Freddy. Like, if you were to take that in the late 80s, people would look at you and go, that's insane. But, Freddy's just utterly irrelevant now. It's like they don't know what to do with him.
It's weird how that kind of
Chucky's been-
ironically is like the plot of Freddy versus Jason is that he was forgotten, that he didn't have
Yeah.
the fear in the town anymore. That's basically was forgotten in real life here. We haven't gotten a new movie since the remake.
Well, I think
And
it's
probably
mostly
because the remake was not that great.
it's mostly circumstance too, because Robert Englund is so important, and
Oh, he's integral to the whole series.
I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of them you can just throw a mask on somebody, but Robert Englund kind of needs to be there.
oh yeah,
I know
it's-
people
it
would
was the
argue that's
character
not
to him.
true, but I mean that's very true. And
I think if you had a
he's
you actually
over
had
it.
a
He's
good
not doing
writer,
it.
you could make anything.
So
That's true.
my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street sequel is something called Bad Dreams, which is a far better film than any of the sequels. So I mean, I think again, I think Griff is right. You can make a legitimately great Freddy movie, but you're going to have the people who just want the past over again, and they're not going to be happy with what you produce, no matter what you do at that point. I think that franchise has also run its course because it's kind of milled itself down. There's not much more there, you know?
Well, I think it would be cool. This has always been my thought, especially recently. If they just if they have to do it, let him pass the torch. Let somebody else become some other kind of like dream demon or something else crazy, and they can have their own signature, like stripes, hat, and glove, something different. It could
Well,
be
we
a
had-
chick. I mean, there could
we
be a
had
completely
Slumber-
different motive. I think that would be cool, but I don't think they'll ever do it.
We had the Slumber Party Massacre 2 with the guitar drill. We had that guy. They could have turned that into a franchise. I want that guitar drill so bad, man. I'm a musician. I play guitar. I love that. If I can have a movie prop, the guitar drill from Slumber Party Massacre 2.
Before we get too far away from that, I do think Richard Lynch, even outside of Bad Dreams, is scary as fuck.
Terrifying. Bad Dreams is an amazing film. I mean, that's a thing that people should be talking about more. Also, they could never get the music they licensed in that movie for the dimes and pennies that they got it for in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good. I don't know if icons are really. I mean, as from a marketing standpoint, yeah, sure, but I'm not sure that's really what's healthiest for the genre, though. I mean, do we need an Annabelle as a thing?
Nah, I
Does
can't
anyone
stand that
want or
series.
need more of that shit? I mean, but you can put it in a Spirit Halloween and it sells, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
And also,
I
like,
thought
I'll go
Comes
right
Home is
back.
a good movie.
Not Annabelle, but
I like Annabelle Comes Home. I think that's the same.
like Malignant.
Okay,
I would like to have.
everyone's being quiet.
Sorry, Mike. Go ahead. I'm stepping all over you.
No, I was gonna say, like while I've got everyone in the chat, I thought might as well like carry on the stream the way I was gonna do it solo, but it's great to have everyone on board. This is like it's a bit intimidating having so many people on one stream when I'm hosting it. I feel like Piz. I feel like a little bit intimidated, but so I will carry on the way I started. Question for you guys. After watching Orphan First Kill, sequels you never knew you wanted to. Basically, sequels you never knew you needed a sequel to, or I've read that completely wrong. A sequel you never knew you needed, basically.
I
So
didn't
this is
expect the
basically
sequel to
Orphan
that.
First Kill. I never knew I needed a sequel to that film, but I really, really enjoyed Orphan First Kill. I thought it was just a blast.
I thought it was great,
Thoroughly enjoyable.
and I love the first Orphan.
Lorne's gone and sorry, JT. Go on, GT.
I was saying, yeah, the first Orphan, I adored that movie, and I had two concerns really with this prequel. Was that it was Isabel Furman, right? It's 25 years old, 24 when they when they filmed it. So my two biggest concerns was her look, and how they're going to make her look like Esther again, and then basically just like how they're going to have a twist this time. Like with last time, like no one saw that twist coming of her being a grown woman. Like that was a great twist back then. No one saw it coming. Now we knew that she's an older woman and she has to go back to playing a child. And I think they did great with making her look young, like she was in the first movie. They had to digitally de-age her. They had to do like state of the art makeup on her, use children in certain shots and camera tricks. It didn't bother me at all, actually, her look in the film, which I was surprised by in a good way.
Yeah, I loved it. I don't think it was like a, wasn't like a 10 out of 10 movie, but when
Yeah,
you
of
go into a
course.
movie, when you've got zero expectations and you go into it and it completely just blows your way in terms of like what you would expect. I was expecting like a 5 out of 10 movie. And when you get like when you even get like a 7 out of 10 movie or an 8, it's just like, well, I'm happy with that, you know? And
No, yeah.
I just thought it didn't take itself too seriously. It felt like, I don't know whether anybody's seen Killing Eve, which is like a BBC TV show.
I've heard of
Yeah,
it.
yeah. The villain in that show, she's very much similar to that. She's kind of like sassy, deadly, but doesn't take herself too seriously, But she'll just kill you in a heartbeat, and that's what it felt like. And it was just an enjoyable film. And it's one of those movies where even though she's like, a sociopath, you're rooting for her over, the good guys, so to speak, almost to a point, because
Yeah,
she's
like
such
an
a fun character.
anti-hero.
She's almost
That's
just like
what
an
I didn't
anti-hero.
like about it, actually. That was my big problem with it. I didn't like that.
How they
made
portray her like that.
sympathetic.
Well, they did that in I Spit on Your Grave, the remake. How they tried to make the mentally handicapped guy like sympathetic, and that he didn't really mean to do anything. And I like how they handle that though, because he basically says, "I'm sorry," and there's no sorry in the world for what that girl goes through in that movie. And I like how they handled that, because you don't see that too often.
Well, can I go next?
Go right ahead.
I got 3. As far as first, I will go with. Well, I'll say that one for last because Warren will have the input on that one. But I'll go with French Connection. I thought French Connection 2 was actually pretty solid, and I also saw Seven Ups. The Seven Ups with Roy Scheider was pretty solid. Again, Richard Lynch as the villain, and. Well, I'll just go Exorcist and Exorcist 3 / Legion. That's like
Exorcist 3 is amazing.
that is like the
Yeah.
sequel to sequels, baby. Awesome.
Greatest
Great.
jump scare in history.
The Omen series is great too, except for the 4th one. Like the first 3 of the I'm not Orphan. The Omen. I said the Omen or the Orphan. I have no idea which
You
one.
said
I said.
Omen. You said Omen.
All right, I was right the first time. Yeah, the first 3 Omens are great. The 4th one is not good at all. But it's a great trilogy for the first 3. And we have Sam Neill in the 3rd one, who's great in everything.
Lord?
I don't know. I definitely think that there's sequels that are better than the originals. So I'm not one of those purists that don't think that they should ever make a sequel.
I'm thinking of one which I'm sure you'd appreciate, is Psycho 2.
I love Psycho too.
Psycho 2
Yeah, that's great.
is an amazing film in so many ways, and it's funny because people have come around to it because it used to just not be talked about. Like it was like, oh yeah, that happened, and I think the 3rd film kind of hurt its reputation a bit, to be honest. But then, in more recent years, people have kind of recognized that the impossible task of making a sequel to Psycho, to begin with, it had to be insurmountable, but they did. They didn't just make a one that holds up. It's a really, really solid bookend to the first film, and that's amazing. It might sound bizarre to people, but Jaws 2 is my Jaws movie. I'm not going to be the guy who claims it's better than the original, because it's not. But it's my Jaws movie. It's the one I reach for. It's the one that I have the most fun with. Certainly that series has nowhere to go after that, clearly. But I think the sequels they're obviously a commercial concern, right? Like they're made to cash in because the last one made money.
Of course.
But that doesn't, from a writing standpoint,
Just go. To go back to Psycho though briefly, like I don't know the backstory, but because the film was released like 22 years after the original, maybe
23.
23 years later.
Yeah.
So what was the incentive to make the sequel? Because I was too young at the time, so
It was originally developed for television.
it seems like a strange. It's a long time to wait for a sequel, you know.
Yeah.
It was originally developed for television, and
Well, look
then
at text. Yeah, let it go ahead.
and then during the development, it was realized that they had everyone back that they could from the original, and it was kind of too big of an event for the small screen. And then it got a budget in place, and they very smartly used a lot of techniques from the original, and Franklin was an amazing choice for the director of the film. Why? Because it was a legendary film. That's why you'd want to do it. But originally, it was supposed to be just in the 80s. I don't know if anyone remembers this. There was tons of just like, hey, this thing's 20 years old. Let's try and have a reunion of some sort. Psycho seems like a weird choice for that, but it very well could have been that had, you know, everyone not signed on to the film, but everyone signed on because the screenplay was just goddamn good. And I think the film is great.
Yeah, I've always liked Psycho 2. Even Psycho 3 is enjoyable. Nowhere near the second one, but the fourth one is not good.
That tinkling
In my
sense
opinion.
of wonder from the second film, that it's hard to describe. It's not something you feel during the original film, but it feels like it belongs in that world. Like all that uncertainty is Norman losing his mind? Is it really Mother back somehow? Is it someone else doing something? There's all those movies. I think of the scene where he's painting the house and he looks up and he sees
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
silhouette in the window, and what that you feel that like you feel something that's not in any other movie, but it feels like the Psycho universe and it's intact. Like the third film's problem to me is there's no moments where that happens. It's a perfectly respectable slasher until that goofy scene in the car at the end, which is like something out of a Sleepaway Camp sequel. But up to that point, it's a completely legitimate slasher film. It's just not a Psycho movie to me. You know, it doesn't have that factor of just, oh my God, I'm in that world. These are the kind of emotions that run in the Psycho universe. And the second film somehow pulled it off. Look, it's the Catman.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Hey, man. That's my buddy right there.
I feel just the way in Psycho 2 that they explored so much of just Norman thinking he's going crazy from them messing with him, and I thought that was a great little way to take for a sequel
Norman.
instead of just going for the same exact thing as the original.
Yeah, we're
Like
so
I like when
quick.
sequels take risks, even if they don't work. Like go for broke. If you have an idea you want to do something different, if they take a risk. If it doesn't work, at least they took a risk. Like that, I always respect filmmakers for making something different, like completely different in some like cases, like with Blair Witch 2. Nobody cared for that movie because it was nothing like the first one. It wasn't a bunch of kids in the woods again. It was just a completely like psychological unraveling, and it just always hit better for me than the first movie.
Halloween 3 season, which
If they'd have just called it Season of the Witch, it'd done
Oh
better.
my God, I'm going to come down there.
As well. What's up, John?
If they had just called it Season of the Witch.
You know, we're not so far away from me actually being able to smack you. So
Yeah. If they just called it Season of the Witch, it'd been great.
it would have failed no matter what.
Yeah.
You have to look at that time period that was way too ambitious for what was going on.
Nicolas Cage proved that nobody will go see a movie called Season of the Witch. So, like that argument is irrelevant.
Hey, that
That
movie's
movie's hilarious.
fine.
that movie's hilarious.
When you
Not
go
a
in the
hot take. That
pantheon of
movie's
Nick
fine.
Cage movies from that era, yeah, it's fine.
That
I don't
demon-
like the idea of a pantheon of Nick Cage movies to begin with.
that demon in the end, his voice is so funny.
I bet to
What are
this
they
day,
thinking?
if you could bring up some of those movies and Nick Cage would go, I was in that?
Yeah, he doesn't.
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Nah.
Absolutely. He seems like absolutely that type of person.
He'd be like, wait,
Would not remember, like,
he'd
certain
mute
things
his
to eat.
cam, and then he'd Google the film.
Mhm.
He'd come back and be like, "Yeah, I made that with."
Well, look at Stephen King. I mean, obviously he was drunk all the time, but he doesn't remember writing Cujo at all, which is insane to me.
Oh, that was that
Like,
cocaine right there.
not-
buddy.
oh yeah, that and alcohol, whatever. He was all fucked up, but
Well, that explains
just
why
to
the
not
first page-
remember writing a novel
Yeah.
is just crazy to me. That's like I don't know. That's
Imagine
wild.
being like interested in your own shit though. It's like this is good.
Yeah, and then not remember any of it, like or
That's the
writing
reason
it
the
or
first
anything.
50 pages of that book are like a different story entirely. Hey, it's a kid with a monster in his closet. Wait, no, it's about a dog.
Yeah.
Definitely about a dog.
So what you been up to, Jonathan?
Living life, man.
Living life.
He's up to about 4.8.
You got anything to show off? Any physical media?
I got this in today.
Uh-oh.
Nice.
The 4K for Friday the 13th. So check that out when we get off
Ooh,
here.
Nice.
I'm a sucker and I buy all of them.
Who's
You popped it in yet?
who's purchasing the Ghostwatch Blu-ray?
Oh, right
What
here.
was
man.
that?
Got that
Ghostwatch
pre-order,
Blu-ray
that
dropping
Ghost
soon.
Watch Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Oh man, this sucker's still sealed though. I ain't even
I
checked
need-
it out yet.
I need to buy that. I might see if the DVD's cheaper and buy it, to be
Alright.
honest with you. But I need to see it. I haven't seen it yet.
Dude, $20, and that's a 101 Films release. I don't know if anybody got their last broadcast release that they did, but that's a
You good?
legit release for $20.
Good transfer.
Nice. I mean, it's the transfers whatever on last broadcast, but like, it came with a couple booklets, nice case. Like it was a lot better than what Scheme Factory's handing out, man. Like, that's all I'm saying at a cheaper price point.
Did you get
Tons of
anything, Lauren?
features.
I was just thinking that maybe if we're talking about physical media and presentation, I got to cheat. Give me a second.
What is
This one-
that?
Oh,
Thickens.
He's riffing.
There we go. I feel better already.
All right. Now that Jonathan, you got anything else?
Not like readily available, but I picked up the Halloween Kills steelbook.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I like those movies. I don't care what anybody says.
All right.
Love them. Rewatched them both back to back a couple weeks ago with my wife. Still love them. So,
All right.
I
haters
feel
gonna
that
hate.
way
2018
about
Kills,
H2.
yeah?
Zombies H2. I love Zombies H2, which is a usually unpopular opinion. But I think Michael is so brutal in that movie, man. Like he's just a completely different Michael Myers, which makes sense because it's in a different universe. It's not John Carpenter's Halloween's universe. I mean, there's like 3 or 4 different timelines now in that franchise. So.
I don't think Michael Myers is the problem with that movie though.
No.
Oh
yeah.
no, there's a whole bunch of stupid shit. But for this, everyone has those movies that most people hate, but you love for some reason.
See, like I don't feel the need to defend Halloween 2018 and Kills.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm actually in the majority here. As
Yeah,
far as
this
people
community-
go. Yeah,
This community
no.
for some reason you're not.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying. Like not
It's
in
not
the
a
cult,
widely
like,
hated movie. It's
it's
probably 50-50 at least.
Oh yeah, it's just like not like Resurrection or anywhere near that type of level.
no. Like I think everybody can agree that Resurrection was. Just,
I would say
Awful.
I enjoy Resurrection. I watch it every year.
Do you?
Oh yeah.
I rewatch Resurrection a lot.
I
You
feel
like
like
whatever you like.
I feel like we're getting to a point where I shouldn't have to defend it. It's got Buster Rhymes karate fighting Michael Myers.
Hey,
How can you be mad at that? It's hilarious. It's one of the most. You're never gonna get that in a movie again, dude. It's awesome.
I've always wondered in part 5 when when Michael is with the hermit or whatever that takes care of him. He's just taking care of him for a year, is what they say in there that they imply. I'd love to see like footage from that and see exactly what this guy was doing, taking care of Michael
that's like
for a year.
buddy
Feeding him
comedy.
baby
Yeah,
like-
food.
Yeah, exactly. Changing his diaper and shit. Like, what was he doing there for this guy for a year straight? And Michael didn't kill him in that whole year
You know what though? I think if he
with his
doesn't,
murderous rage. Like,
I think if
I
he
don't
bullet
know.
doesn't,
holes in you.
if he can't die, it's not out of the question to say that he doesn't shit.
Yeah, I mean, we see Jason's toilet in the shack in part 2, so we
In
know
the
he has a
cafe.
bathroom. Yeah. No one's ever found that shack in all those years in Friday Part 2. I don't know. I overanalyze everything in movies, so. But no one found that
Well-
shack.
well, it's not a healthy environment to
Gonna
go check around.
Oh yeah, and it looks
It's like going
nothing
to
remotely
Chernobyl.
like
It's probably not the best idea.
Yeah,
Alright.
it looks.
But I want to touch the elephant's foot.
All right, I'm gonna do my show and tell now. I finally got
Ooh,
Jurassic
Okay.
Park.
What's that
4K.
movie? You like to have some obscure tastes.
I know. Shit. This whole lot is, yeah. And I did pick this
there
up.
you go.
Nice.
Did it come
Did
with a
it-
slip?
A slip?
Zipping again.
This one, I just watched this last night. The transfer in this was incredible.
I've got that one on the shelf. I need to watch it,
Okay.
man. I've heard
The
good
Don't
trans-
things.
watch anything
Yeah.
that's on the shelf, dude.
It's
Huh?
incredible.
Don't watch any of the things that you have on the shelf.
I watch a lot of them. It's just I have a lot of things on the shelf.
It's true.
Got this.
Can I be really boring and just take you back
Ooh.
to Halloween again briefly?
Sure, I'll be back.
So
I'll be back.
sorry to be really boring and keep talking about Halloween, but Halloween with the latest trilogy, we were meant to believe that they were taking Michael back in a more human aspect. You know, he was just a human being again. So at the end of Kills, he's clearly not human. So why did they tease the fact that he was somehow human? Because he's clearly not.
I
Why did they even go in that direction?
I
Yeah.
can,
Because at the
I
end
can
of
say why.
Kills, he's clearly not a human being.
I can say why. Okay, at the beginning of the original movie, we assume Michael is, just a disturbed individual. Okay, it's alluded to at the end of the film that he may be something more than that. And I think that's just them playing with that idea. Is he? Is he not?
Yeah, that's the
Was it,
essence of the character.
was it circumstance that let him kill all those people? Right, like in that epic fight scene in the end with the lady with the iron and shit. Was it just these people suck at hand-to-hand combat, or is he just something more?
Yeah, and going one way or
Yeah.
the other is both bad. It has to be ambiguous. That's the whole point of the character.
Well, that's why I never liked the whole sibling thing between
Yeah.
Laurie and Michael. I never liked that.
That
Like,
was
I
the worst
accept-
thing they did to the
Explain.
Yeah,
character.
it strips all the mystery from Michael of why he stalks. The way
What
he
they
does.
could have done, and they still may do it, and I don't know if they will. I think it may have been planned before this, but in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, which I know people have their problems with that too, and the whole storyline of Sally Hardesty and shit, that was a direct lift from 2018. I get that. But when Leatherface has no fucking idea who she is, that's the way I think that Michael should feel about Laurie Strode. I don't know who the fuck you are. Like, I don't remember you. Like,
I mean,
I
they
was your
kinda-
whole life, but
They kind of went there,
I agree.
but they and that's another thing I'll defend about the movie. They did that right too because they left that in question. They never said concretely what he's doing. They just different people threw out different theories that they thought, and they never really clarified. And that's something that I think that Kills did really good. Is just
see, I think they heard it when they rewrote the first movie. Because from what I understand, it was Laurie was going to be the reason the bus crashed. I think that was going to be apparent.
Yeah, she runs it off the road.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense in all this. That her and Michael, it wouldn't be happenstance again. She would have got that ball rolling, and she just happened to be there. Right now, it feels like he's sticking around her. He's killing her family for spite. You know what I mean?
It just doesn't feel like the Michael that we know.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I love both movies, but I wish they would downplay that relationship, at least on Michael's end, because he has no preference. Like, nothing.
He has no emotion. He has no soul.
the
He's
thing-
soulless. He's heartless. The man with the blackest eyes. Like, it just it takes away from that. Even with the stuff with the thorn and that whole craziness that when 5 and 6, especially with 6, trying to explain why Michael's the way he is. And the first film just works so perfectly for me is that there's no motive. Like,
And I
they're
think
not
that's
brother and
completely by.
sister.
And I
There's
don't
motive.
think that. Well, I don't think that that's necessarily purposeful either, because the movie, it was never thought of as a series either. I think a lot of this was left on the table for speculation, and anything we added to that was just going to muddy what happened before. So I think we read into that first movie in a way that we shouldn't.
I get what you're saying.
The scary there's two major scary things about Halloween. The second scary one, which is the one that matters in this conversation, is when Michael is driving past the girls and they scream out "Speed kills." That insult is why
That
he's
is where that,
and that's what's scary. The idea is like you don't know who through just your callous behavior. You could just set a psychopath on yourself. That's what's scary about Halloween is like the smallest slight to the wrong person at the wrong time, and you have the worst night of your life, and maybe the last. That's
'cause
Halloween.
You don't know what could set somebody off exactly,
Right.
and that's a scary thought. And they
do you think it
play
could
into
drive,
that so well.
do you think they could drive that home with like
Oh,
setting
come on,
a
that was
movie
a good slip, bro.
You're just ripping it all up.
by maybe setting a film that has nothing to do with Halloween? Like I think there's a lot of importance placed on the date for the character that is giving to that everybody else is putting on him. But if I let him out in June, would he not do anything?
Apparently, because we don't get films about.
That's what I'm saying.
June
Like
7th.
let's see what his summers are like.
Well, that's another thing I think is important to the ambiguity. He seems to come out on Halloween. We don't know though, and like don't explain it because that would one way or the other that just adds more definition to a character that's whole point is that there's nothing. You know what I'm saying?
So
Yeah,
here's
there's
an
nothing
idea.
left of that boy.
Yeah, here's an interesting idea. Like the entire point of The Mask was originally that it was supposed to be featureless, that it was anyone kind of, and it's just a plain white void, really. And as fans, we've gone so far out of our way with the crap knowledge that it was a Shatner mask, which you really can't see. Honestly, people stop pretending you can see that in it. But because we spent from day one and attempting to define this character when the whole point is there's no character there. That's what's scary. Yeah, you know what, Griff? Just for that?
I'm gonna
You wanna
love
do-
my
Shatner.
Do you want to see my physical media pickups?
Now, buddy, you just watch this and you see what kind of home you could went to. Okay.
That's like 20 minutes from my home. So
No, I'm talking to I want this 4K to know what a good home it's got because I'm not some kind of fucking evil person just destroying shit.
I have the European trade show copy of Decad, which it's not getting a physical release. So, and I have my Blu-ray copy of Mask of the Devil, a film that when it becomes available on streaming early in the new year, you should definitely check out. You want a newest slasher icon? Right here, right? It also is a movie that actually has a cameo by one of my books. So maybe you should check this out.
What's it called?
It's called Mask of the Devil. You can check out the trailer on YouTube. It just actually won a bunch of prizes at the first two fests that it appeared at.
Oh, nice.
It's about a young woman who takes a job on a porn film set, and unfortunately, there's a mask there from Africa that starts possessing people and making one guy go crazy and kill everyone.
As they do.
Interesting.
Yep, lots of fun.
I'll show one
Yeah,
off
over there.
since we're showing off movies. I got this. It's called
Most
Likely
Die.
to Die.
I got that at the dollar
How much
store.
did you pay
too.
for it?
$2.95, baby, and it's probably gonna be horrible.
This is only $2.95.
That doesn't count. That shit
What's
came
that
from the
like?
Dollar Tree. That is 25 cents a slip right there, sir.
Oh,
The
hell yeah.
majority of these came from the
The
Dollar
Dollar
Tree.
Tree. Wonder why.
I can't imagine. That one actually in time could have been worth something because it was, of course, the censored Walmart cover.
The panic.
Yeah, I still need to find that.
I can't. I can only
I
find.
can send you the pieces.
I can't. No, like the movie. I want to buy the movie with Satanic Panic on it. I don't want.
Oh well, the movie itself does. It's only the slip that has the censored cover.
Oh, it's just a slip. Okay,
Yeah.
I haven't even been like opening or like slipping them out.
Yeah, just. I mean, do you really need it?
Yeah.
No, I mean if the other ones have Satanic Panic like on the label, I'm good. I can pick up one here.
Yeah,
I got Baba Yaga the other day. I need to watch it. It was a Scream Factory one. You don't see that often.
You know, it's a good transfer I just saw the other day. Mario Bava's Twitch of the Death Nerve, Kino's release.
Mhm.
It looks so good. Like it
Kino-
looks so cleaned up. They're doing great stuff with Bava's movies.
And it
Kino's
doesn't
just
have
been
that,
knocking it out of the park.
it doesn't have that horrific splice right at the beginning. That's great.
And the whole end that's got to be one of the most convoluted plots.
So,
It's
very-
all over the place. There's like 7 killers. Like everyone's a killer in that movie.
well,
Even
it's
the kids.
it's most clearly like it's not just the bridge between Giallos and slashers. It is like the whole game. That is the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
mean, that said, I think it's my least favorite Bava film, but it's still goddamn good, you know?
Oh, yeah. That's what I cite as, I think, in my opinion, the most influential film on shaping and molding the slasher genre, especially Friday the 13th, which kicked off the whole craze of the 80s.
Speaking of Italian directors, I watched Nightmare Beach for the first time.
Oh.
The other
with
night.
the motorcycle?
Jesus Christ, that is a
Like
fun
Brett-
movie.
It is. It really
Never
is.
seen it.
Oh, where has that been my whole life? Just
It's a great
random.
Is that the late 80s? Is that from like late 80s? Is that the guy with, is that the
Something
one
like
with
that,
John Saxon? Is John Saxon in that movie?
Michael
Yeah,
Parks.
I've never seen that film.
Oh, dude, it is. It just be like
It's a fun
exposition dump, wet t-shirt contest, electrocution, wet t-shirt contest.
That's pretty much it.
Like
Sounds like a
abrupt.
nice sort of film.
But that's such a cool killer. Like a way to kill people is a motorcycle.
An
Just
electrified
electrified
motorcycle.
motorcycle.
How
Like,
did he
that's
have
awesome.
time? Who
To
or
put that
who-
together? Like who did that?
Because
Like,
that you need a welder, some sort
Yeah.
of electrical engineer on
Oh,
this
come
thing.
on. If the A team could pull off what they do in a barn at the end of every episode, I'm fine with it.
You know what? Like if you throw B.A. Baracus in the movie and make it all fucking
MacGyver.
canon,
The real MacGyver.
Yeah.
With receding
Yeah.
hairline.
then I'm down. That's the explanation for how this shit can be done.
yeah, it
Dude,
works.
IFC used to put out
Because
bangers.
everybody, sorry,
Mike.
I was going to say, because everybody's having such a good time, having such a fun time, you know, being optimistic, I thought I'd just put it down on things. And I was going to bring up a next topic of conversation was
It's gonna be
Cineworld,
fucking
which
Halloween
is like
kills.
the second largest cinema chain in the world, is on the verge of going bankrupt. Certainly in the UK. How do we reverse the decline of cinemas? Can we do anything?
Yeah.
Or is it in the hands of the youngsters?
Release
Do they care?
release movies people have a true interest in seeing. Top Gun is domestically the 5th biggest film of all time. I mean, that didn't happen because they released a nostalgia film. That happened because they released a film that genuinely delivered on its promises, better than its predecessor.
better than
You asked earlier about a film that you didn't know, a sequel you didn't know you needed. That's probably the best example in history.
It's fantastic.
so much better than the original. It's not funny.
We're gonna get that with so many action movies now, though. We're gonna get fucking Die Hard, John McClane, right? Like, or whatever. Like, I know it can't be that, but you're just gonna get those titles from now on.
I can't wait for the Iron Eagle reboot. No, I think
One of the
that's
reasons
over-
Top Gun was a big hit.
I think
How CGI is it to the point now where is it to the point now where CGI actually costs more than real world effects? Because how much did Top Gun cost to make, as opposed to like Lord of the Rings, the TV show, which just cost $1 billion?
I don't
It just
know,
looks
but
like fake
there's a
shit.
screenshot online of the timeline. So, like the digital, like where they edited the film with all the effects and layers laid in it. It is. If you've ever edited video, it is so overwhelming to look at because it's just thousands and thousands of lines of effects, overlays, music. Just look at it sometime, and that's where all that money goes. Is just the man hours of doing that frame by frame in some instances.
There's a Terror Train remake comes out in October. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
because everyone
like
needs this remake of that thing.
Tubi.
Yeah, I
think?
know, right?
If they don't have
asked,
Chris
like, the
Angel,
Mutilator too.
It's
We
not
were
Chris
asking
Angel,
about
that
Chris
doesn't even-
Angel's not the killer, I'm out.
what's all right. Here's a question: favorite remakes from the 2000 onwards.
Do they have to be horror?
Let's stick with horror just for the
Oh.
sake of talking about horror.
Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder's, yeah, that's a great movie. That's a great.
Both have eyes with Dawn of the Dead. It's between the two of them probably.
I'd say Evil Dead. I really loved. That's one franchise that's never disappointed me. Well, like with any entry in that, I love everything.
You might get your streak broken with the next one.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no expectations really for what is it? Rise, it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really have no expectations for that at all. And we have no Bruce Campbell. Not that you need him, but
Don't take that too seriously either.
yeah, and it could just be a whole thing, and he appears like at some point in the movie. Isn't he? Is he involved producing that movie in any way, or
He is the main producer on that film.
is he? Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
Hey,
Just
I
like
want to
what they
throw
did
in
with the remake.
real quick before this topic is over. Maniac is the best
I
horror
was just-
remake
Yes.
ever made past the year 2000.
Texas Chainsaw 3 for me, Maniac, Evil Dead, and Suspiria
hit the
are
cat.
probably my 4 favorite remakes from the 2000s onward. And Maniac is just a work of art, that movie.
I love
Just
that shit.
just the way that they shot that, all from POV, is amazing. Like, it's just amazing to look at.
And
Like,
the
it's
music
the music's unreal.
and the
Like,
effects. Oh, it's so beautiful.
there's some effects in that movie that I don't know how they fucking did. Like, it looks really realistic, some of the kills in that movie.
That one in the bed, that was like
Yeah,
a jump off the couch moment for me. I was like, oh shit. It looks
And
so good. Dude.
Oh, everything. All the gore in that movie is great. Especially even the opening scene when he follows the girl home and then you just sticks the knife up and her scream. She's about to scream and she stops as she gets stabbed through the fucking throat or up into her mouth. And then he caresses her and then he pulls the knife out. Just Maniac. Amazing opening. And the music's amazing. The way everything's shot, the whole POV thing. Such a good remake.
And they managed to get a practical reflection in that truck of him holding the knife and the scalp.
Got to be one of the coolest
It's
callbacks
awesome.
to an original's like VHS cover in a remake. They did it so well with that.
Willard.
Dan mentions Hills of
Willard
Eyes
is
as
fun.
well.
Eyes
Hills
is
of Eyes.
good too. The remakes, I like the remake of that.
There's just 3 weeks ago in theaters, especially theaters, of course, there was a film called Dubara, which is an Indian-made remake of the film Mirage from Spain from, I think it's 2005. So the original's not very good, but this was an amazing film. So that's what remakes should do, actually. Find films with great premises that drop the ball and just fix them. So Dubara, if you want to see a great dark sci-fi film, because it's not quite horror, it's damn close though. There's some pretty horrific stuff in it. Dubara.
You see,
Yeah, I never.
Lord,
I
a
never
lot of
heard
people are talking about.
Yeah, check it out.
A lot of people are talking about an Indian movie called RRR.
Yeah,
Some sort of action movie. Oh,
Mhm.
you've seen it?
yeah. It's not,
Everybody's raving about it.
Yeah.
I've not seen it, but apparently it's doing.
I mean, it was huge this year. It's one of the biggest Indian films ever made, and it's good. It's just long. There's a lot of CGI. All the CGI looks great, except the animals sometimes look like CGI animals, but that's true of American films too. Actually, they sold the digital model of one of the big cats to that film that just came out here, Beast. Yeah. So that's actually recycled FX model from RRR, which we're starting to see now. Like production companies paying for original work, and then they sell the digital models to other productions, because why would another production just go through all the work again? That's
Yeah, they can just have it done for them.
Yeah, it's kind of fascinating, right? Because it's
Yeah.
like a way for productions to gain money back on their back end, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would say, like, the problem with, you asked about CGI being expensive or cheap. CGI itself is not expensive. It's the time
Time
that makes it
consuming.
expensive. But we're getting there, because a lot of things that we used to have to do with conventional CGI, we now can take big shortcuts with. That Mandalorian television show, which I've never seen a frame of, they were doing all the background sets as CGI markers and projecting them onto frame, so the actors could actually onto screen, so the actors would actually be in front of the images they would actually be interacting with, which made the actor's job a lot easier. But it also, and then they could touch it up with the original files by mapping the original files on for clarity, and so that they could control things like blur. So I think that's part of the future, to get away from the Marvel Avengers thing, whereas everything looks like a cartoon because everything's too sharp and everything's lit the same.
And the cuts every 2 seconds.
Yeah, wow,
There's
that's a choice.
And we've seen that in movies for so long, but
Yeah.
like, I don't care for it. Like, movies that with that many cuts, especially action sequences and stuff, I don't know what the hell's going on half the time. Like, I loved just like in the 70s and 80s with just the long shots, the 10-minute scene. There's hardly any cuts. That's just the way I prefer watching movies, like that. Those types of movies.
See, Decade is like the action film you've always wanted, but never even got from this country.
That's the one you showed me a trailer for, right?
Yeah, it looks like it seriously is. The film looks like Scorsese or Kubrick decided to make a dumb action film, because it's gorgeous and it's so ultra violent. It's not funny. It's a crazy movie. I love it. It's like my favorite action film of all time. And this has been a good year. We have my favorite folk horror film of all time come out this year in Moloch. My favorite action film of all time in Decade. And now I don't know where exactly I'm gonna put Stallone, but it's definitely my favorite film of the year, and it's better than those two, which both are like high points for different genres for me. So this year is turning out to be a pretty amazing year for cinema.
That's where I haven't been catching up on new releases, really. And I think it's just because I just started my channel and stuff like a few months ago. And initially, you're always going to be like, oh, my favorites and stuff, and movies you love and stuff. So I haven't been paying attention to new releases. I saw Nope. I honestly didn't care for it that much, especially compared to his first two films.
Nope was a serious disappointment for me. Serious disappointment for me.
I'm not the only one then.
Nope, it wasn't.
People are going crazy over that movie. I can see why. I mean, he's got his fans like that, but I love Get Out. Us, I really like until the whole explanation at the end for the tethers, which I just tore apart in my video for that, because none of that makes sense at all.
It's meant to be taken strictly thematically from a plot standpoint. As
He could
that.
benefit greatly from somebody just punching up his work.
Yep.
Just bring in somebody who could just, I mean, I'm not talking about rewriting the whole thing, but like he has a really hard time wrapping things up.
He doesn't.
Yeah, I can see. I know what you're talking about.
Well, he has a problem with knowing where dramatic beats really belong to, because he's really good at creating set pieces. The alien scare, the fake alien scare in Nope is great. That scene is phenomenal. The problem is it comes at a point where we can't recover from it. So like the 15 minutes after drag, because you just had this high point.
Yeah.
He does things like that. And listen, Jordan Peele to me is a really interesting filmmaker who I think I want to love more than I do. He just hasn't released that movie yet, but I think it's there.
Well,
I think he has more potential.
He's only 3 in right now.
Right.
Yeah.
But most people don't get more than 3 films in a career.
He's the only one with He's the only one with the kind of potential I've seen. Period.
Yeah.
To be one of those Carpenters, a Hooper, a Craven,
right on the major studio scene. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I mean, like, and pretty much be held in that regard by everyone.
And
now, this shit saying that he's the new John Carpenter is a bit premature.
Well, that's what I was about to say. He's suffering from all of this political crap where people are trying to force him into like he's as good as Carpenter, and he's like a good filmmaker, but he's not. And trying to wedge him there
Oh,
is
He
hurting
can be
him.
he can be on that level, no doubt.
I don't know. I don't know.
Could, but don't
Have you-
preemptively say
No. That's what I'm
he
saying.
is,
Doing
'cause
it
that's
way
going
too
to-
early.
Yeah,
that's
no,
going
They
to-
did this shit with
that's
Eli
the
Roth.
point.
They could have
It's
let
the
Eli Roth organically grow instead of just anything. They let him do anything he wanted to after Cabin Fever because he had the fucking he had the rub from fucking Tarantino.
And Lynch.
Instead of picking projects and the studios being a little bit pickier with him because Eli can direct. Don't get it twisted. He is. I mean, I know people hate on him, but the man can shoot shit and focus. Okay.
Oh, he can, and he knows his shit about horror. Like
He
he
does.
is so passionate about horror, the whole horror genre and film in general.
I'm glad
like
that
his
the heat's
TV
coming
show.
off him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's slowed down over the years. I want to see something new by him, like something really different than his last, most of his films that were just labeled
like the
torture
house with the-
porn.
With the cock in its, clock in its walls.
Was it Fulci,
Freudian
right?
slip.
Is that Fulci? Is
No,
that a
that's
Fulci title?
Roth. That's
Is
Roth.
it? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
all right.
That's with
there's,
Jack
There's
Black.
a Fulci title that's like that.
The House of it's he produced it. He didn't direct it. It's
Yeah, it was something with clocks, right? The house
it's
with the clock.
House of Clocks. It's just House of Clocks.
That's it. Yeah,
It was
yeah.
made for television. It was made for
it was
Interzone
a TV.
television. Yeah,
I love Fulci.
I love Fulci too.
Favorite Fulci film?
Okay,
Radio
guys.
Silence,
Cemetery,
House by the Cemetery.
easily.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I
I'd go with House by the Cemetery.
I love the movie. I'd probably go with The Beyond.
I love
Might be
the
his best film. I'm going with my favorite, Zombie.
I love Zombie.
Zombie's great.
It's my
The
favorite.
problem with the question of favorite Fulci is that there's no wrong answer if you talk about his classic gore gothic era.
Yeah.
That's the problem. They're all freaking amazing.
Same with Bava and Argento with their golden periods.
Bava, I'd say it's the entire career though. That's the problem.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
what's a bad Bava film? I mean, I can name a bad Fulci film if we really want to, but I can't name a bad Bava film.
Yeah.
That's the
I
problem.
mean,
The
everything.
Beyond.
look out.
No, I hate Beyond.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Is there something in English Water we should know about?
I hate
Yeah,
Beyond.
an
so much.
anti-Beyond drug that makes you not like that movie.
I can understand you saying you hate From Beyond.
I just
From
Who would
Beyond
say
is
that?
underrated, man.
I like From Beyond.
Beyond Beyond's a great film.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, if somebody told me, oh, I fucking hated From Beyond, I'd be like, yeah, it checks out.
Gordon
I get
movie.
it.
I think it was interesting with that movie though.
Listen,
How they
guys,
reversed Barbara Crampton's role from from Reanimator. They kind of switched Barbara Crampton and Jeffrey Combs' role around.
What are you saying, Mike?
He's trying to get rid of us.
Yeah.
Sorry. No. I was going to say, I don't believe in crossing the streams. Ghostbusters, like. Christian's going live in 20 minutes. So all I will say is, final topic of conversation, because I know it's something Lorne desperately wants to see. Next year, a new Saw movie. Thoughts? Yes or no?
I'll watch it.
Do we want to see another Saw
Yeah.
movie?
I'm always down to watch a new Saw movie.
I'd watch one. I actually saw. I love that whole franchise, except for Spiral, which I don't know
See,
why
I
they changed the
enjoyed
voice.
I enjoyed Spiral.
I like Spiral.
Yeah,
I like the
it's not a
franchise.
hit for me.
I haven't even watched it, but
Yeah.
I think it's important to not don't get too experimental with a Saw movie. Just make it a Saw movie.
It's really not experimental.
No,
Make
not
it-
at all.
No,
make it
pretty much
shallow.
like the rest
make
of them,
it
yeah.
make it all about the traps.
I mean,
Don't
they didn't.
worry too much
Traps
about
aren't
the
what the movies are
plot.
about for me at all.
People want to go there to see cool shit. They don't want to see some dramatic.
See, I disagree because I think where most people check out with Saw is part 4. For me, I came out of the theater going, never fucking again. I saw all of them in theaters up to that point. You have to have, and those first 3 movies have a tight enough story that you can throw a ton of fucking traps in it and people are going to come every year. But by 4, where you're struggling to remember like who this is and the twist and why this is important, and was there a USB stick in this dude's dick hole this whole time?
Well, see,
Like,
I
just waiting to be
disagree.
read. Like he would shit out a fucking cassette tape every 15 minutes for years.
I disagree. I tuned out in 3, and it took me a while to get to the rest of them. And then
No,
once I picked it back up, I was like, 4 on is where it actually picks back up. 3 killed it for me.
I know people
I
don't like
agree.
the character, but the series needed Hoffman because what happens is like once you realize Jigsaw is not coming back, they're not gonna resurrect their villain.
Yeah.
Spoilers, I guess, right? The series needed
We
someone.
talked a lot of spoilers.
They needed someone to really rally or against and around. I love the Hoffman character. I wanted him to win, and completely.
I love his character too.
I love the idea of a complete psychopath co-opting this other psychopath that has a moral code, but like Hoffman's the real deal. He has no moral code, and I love the idea of him just kind of trying to inherit the crown. It's this wonderful horror soap opera that's way too convoluted, and that's the joke. Like if you think they weren't aware that they were making something that was way too convoluted, they were completely in on the joke. But
Once the fucking music started, dude.
Oh,
I know, that's such a great movie.
Yeah, that made any twist. That music made the twist more impactful.
Oh, absolutely.
Clouser,
It's such
man.
a great piece of music.
They stole that from Live and Let Die.
Awesome. Yeah, Live and Let Die. Yeah. Paul McCartney.
Yeah, the Wings.
I will never give Paul McCartney credit for anything. So that's
I love the Beatles. They're my favorite band of all time.
I like the Beatles quite a lot. I don't like Paul. They died in the wrong order. If you haven't noticed,
Yeah.
JT.
Yeah.
JT.
Yes.
JT gonna be so jealous. I live like literally 5 minutes from Penny Lane. Literally 5 minutes from Penny Lane.
You
Wait,
can't
say
tell
it.
by the
I've literally
accent.
walked down Penny Lane.
Oh yeah. Well, you told me.
Not
What,
so
did
bad,
you tell me that you sent that you were at Penny Lane in Strawberry Fields. You were telling me something.
If you
about
go-
that, right?
Yeah, if you go on Pizzo, he does. He's done a couple of birthday videos for his brother Jeremy, and a couple of years on the run. I did a video from John Lennon's house, and then
That's
the
what you
following
told me,
year
yeah.
I did a video from Penny Lane. So
Nice.
yeah, so check them out. But
Flex
Yeah, no,
over here.
definitely. I can.
It's about the only
listen
thing
to you
you-
talk about the Beatles.
it's about the only
all
cool
the
thing
time.
about it. Like, it's just normal though. Where I'm from, it's like it's not even. It's like I suppose if you lived 5 minutes from Elvis, it would just be like wouldn't be a big deal because you just see
I
it.
do.
every
He
day.
lives a couple blocks down.
Yeah, he retired.
I sometimes get his
Yeah.
mail. I go
It's
over
like,
and I'm like,
you know,
"Hey King, I got your Publishers Clearinghouse for
And
you.
he says, "Thank you,
Thank you
thank
very
you
much."
very much." No, but see, Mike, here's the thing. This is where America and in the UK are different, because if Liverpool was in fucking Iowa, there would be Beetle World, and there would be fucking
Oh yeah.
Beetle grocery stores,
Yeah.
and fucking everybody. There'd be a Volkswagen Beetle dealership, and the fucking that's
chicken-
all it would be. There'd be like a
Chicken nugget
recreation-
shaped as the four Beatles.
There'd be like there'd be photo ops on Abbey Road. It would be like a whole thing.
Yeah.
It'd be Times
They
Square.
capitalize. Yeah.
If-
they
if you go
capitalize
on,
it like crazy.
if you go on like on the internet, and if you type in like Abbey Road live webcam, you just see all day long people just standing on the zebra crossing, they're
Yeah.
doing the pose like all day long, every day, 24/7,
I've heard of that.
365 days.
Here's
a year.
something else I would like to concede to
I'm
the
more
English.
jealous.
Here's something else I'm going to concede to the English. Your use of the letter Z as Z, that makes fucking sense.
Yeah,
If America could adopt such
yeah,
things,
absolutely.
It really doesn't, though. Sorry, Mike.
It really
but
does.
it makes no sense.
it makes so much sense.
How? It's a
in its
Z,
own-
dude. It's
It
not.
sounds entirely too much like C.
Oh yeah.
Entirely too much.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like Britain, sorry, the UK is just not going to be able to compare with American food. So that's just how it is.
No, they boil everything over there. That's how y'all eat, dude. It's just
It's like porridge
Fucking
and crimpet.
boiled goose and
Yeah.
crackers.
Boiled
Sorry, dude.
goose.
Not going to work for me.
I will say, I would substitute living right next to the Beatles to live within 50 miles of Camp Crystal Lake, like Lorne did, or still does. Do you still live within 50 miles of Camp Crystal Lake?
I might.
Yeah.
Am I being doxxed
Oh,
right now?
I would trade in. No. I'd trade in where I live. I'd just the opportunity to just drive to Camp Nobi Bosco every weekend.
Go to the diner.
You ever
take
been
that.
to the
I'll take
States,
that.
Mike?
Do they actually have Jason Bird?
No, never been.
They do not, but
Jason.
now they have the staff do wear shirts that have hockey masks on
I'm
them.
gonna have to get you over here at some point, or we're gonna have to get over there before like the world explodes. 'Cause we're on a
I
fucking
know.
running out of time.
So can we crowdsource these funds?
Right? Why don't we
Yeah.
just Indiegogo? Get
Get
Mike to the
Mike-
US.
Mike to the States.
For next year's Scarefest. Yeah, how depressing is that though? He's gonna go from the UK.
I kind of feel like I've got more friends in Kentucky than I do at home. It's like half the people on YouTube are all friends with in Kentucky.
There's a lot of us in Kentucky. It makes no fucking because these guys were nowhere around when I was growing up. Chris was like 15 minutes down the road. Never fucking
Yeah.
didn't know he existed.
And I was alone on my life.
Yeah,
Like in
nobody
horror
talk to
movies
this,
and
talk to about this shit. You would have thought at some point we'd have seen each other like FYE in the horror section because that
yeah, I
was
know.
Ghost Town.
I mean, we probably did, to be
Just
honest.
down-
We were probably
yeah,
just like,
down.
hey,
Yeah.
nice shirt.
Yeah. Oh, I fucking love that movie, man.
He doesn't want to go to Disney World. It's not a chance.
Let's do it.
Mike, where would you go if
Anyway, I'm
Mike,
going to
if you
wrap
could
things
go
up now,
anywhere in the
guys.
States, where would you-
Sorry?
That's like the Disney World.
Mike, if you could go anywhere in the States, where would you go?
Where would I go?
Yeah, if you could come here and
Camp Nobi Bosco?
really.
Probably.
Okay, set up the Indiegogo page. We'll make that happen. I'm only partially kidding here.
Right, I'm going to wrap things up now, guys. I'm going to have to wrap things up. It's 2:15 UK time. Just
Oh yeah, that's right.
do you guys want to plug
live in a different
channels?
world.
I'm good. I don't have anything coming up.
Any of you guys want to plug your? I know JT, you want to
I'm
plug your
just-
channel, man?
I'm just doing slasher September all month, so I'll be covering all 70s, 80s, and beyond slashers, which are my favorite subgenre of horror. So
If you're not subscribed to JT, go to my video from a few days ago. He's a nominee for Horror YouTuber of the Month. He's
I have
killing
no
it right
idea
now.
why.
So if you like what he's doing, Chris, do you want to plug your channel?
Yeah, it's slash your own video. I do stuff. Go watch it.
Do stuff.
It reminds me of Victor Crowley when Felissa Rose is like, I get stressed when I do stuff. When she's showing all the pills to Andrew Young, that's fucking hysterical.
Jonathan, I know you said you're lazy, but you got anything planned?
No, man. I just pop up every now and then. You know, I'm like Brock Lesnar, pretty much. You know, I'm just here for the big stuff, and then stature as well.
Lorne?
Visited by Voices One on the YouTube.
Anything coming out?
I'm not coming out. No, that's not going to happen.
I want the world to know.
So we just uploaded the second installment of Eric Zahn's Jukebox, which is the show where we talk in a forum panel about music that has dark themes. We covered Nine Inch Nails' "The Fragile," which
Such a great album.
It is, and we were joined by horror fiction legend Brian Hodge for that discussion. So that's definitely a fun thing to watch on the channel. Later this month, we'll have my Cronenberg retrospective, which follows kind of the pathway that I did with Lynch earlier, last month. And
Oh, you did some Lynch?
I did a Lynch long
One
form
of my
review
favorite directors of all time.
Mike goes to
and
Maine.
you'll probably enjoy next month because an Italian director whose initials are LF will be the featured long form video on the channel.
Linguini fettuccine. Love those
Exactly.
movies.
And then you can follow me on Twitter at Lauren Dixon. That's just my name. Or you can go over to Amazon, put my name in the search engine, and support me by buying a goddamn book.
All right, I need a goddamn book.
And
You
that's
know,
a
I need a new
goddamn book.
goddamn book, so I will
There you
buy
go.
Who
the
doesn't need a new
goddamn book from you
I don't buy
just so
normal
I have
books,
a new one.
but I got a couple goddamn books.
Well, that's a good thing.
You need a new one, goddammit.
Bring books with you, Lauren. By the way,
Griffin.
to Scarefest.
What?
Griffin,
Bring books.
Griffin,
to
anything to
Scarefest.
plug?
Any books in particular? We'll talk offline.
Griffin at Grave Abyss, Twitter. There you go.
And Griff, by the way, his screen
Yeah.
name, that Grave Abyss, is kind of a reference to Hodge. Sort of.
Yep.
I know. Quick
Anyway, I think that
question.
big wraps
Scorsese
things up for
fans.
tonight, guys.
All right, go ahead. Yeah.
Go on. Go on, JC. It's okay.
Scorsese fans out there, has anyone seen his film that's never talked about, After Hours?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Such a phenomenal movie, right?
Oh, yeah.
You never hear that movie talked about. It's one of my favorite movies of all
Dude's
time.
got such a vast fucking filmography
He
that
really does.
you just hit the highlights, man. I mean, that's all you can expect anybody to do.
Yeah, it's such a hysterical movie though. Just like
Yeah,
that
it's
dry,
hilarious.
deadpan like humor to it. But I have a real dark sense of humor, so I always hit well with me. Very Bad Things also same type of thing. That's all I got.
Okay. Well, I will wrap things up then, guys. Thank you for jumping on board. Well, it turned
Yeah,
out to
thanks
be
for having
quite
me,
the
man.
occasion tonight. Everyone, I didn't expect this sort of party, but it's been a great chat. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone in the chat. I'd go through it all, but it'd take me too long. But you know who you are. So, everyone who jumped on tonight, everyone in the chat, thank you very much. And I will see you
Thanks for
later.
having me on, man.
Bye.
Take care, guys.
No problem, man.